Mario and Luigi Bowser's Inside Story Pacifist was a challenge that I wanted to do for a long time. I originally had the idea during my playthrough of Super Paper Mario No Healing and was planning to do it after. However, since Super Paper Mario No Healing is now cancelled, I think it's time to start this challenge. Let's go over some rules of how to do Pacifist. Our goal is to kill as minimal enemies as possible. This alone is going to make us highly underleveled, meaning the game is going to get exceedingly difficult as we progress through the game. If we get into contact with an enemy, we must flee from the battle. If the game prohibits fleeing, we must fight through the battle. That leaves us with tutorials and boss fights. I will be keeping track of our level and how many enemies we killed throughout this playthrough. Now with rules out of the way, let's begin. I start playing the game as normal, go through the Toad Town cutscene and the introduction to basic controls. Speaking of controls, I had a really hard time setting up my controller configuration to my Switch Pro controller, so if anyone is familiar with setting up the Switch Pro controller on Desmumi, please inform me on the comments below or join my Discord server. Anyway, after making our way through Peach's castle, we head into our first fight against Bowser. The first fight in this game is unavoidable. The game forces you to go through this tutorial and beat Bowser. I was originally debating whether or not to count this as a kill, but in the end I did win the battle, so I counted it in. We then awoke and found Fawful, who gave us the Lucky Shroom, only for Bowser to inhale everything he sees. At this point, we enter Bowser's body and have to free Starlo. Once Starlo is rescued, we are once again forced to start another tutorial battle. As the previous tutorial battle, we cannot flee this battle, so we must kill our opponent. After this tutorial, we are now officially open for encounters with enemies. I had a little bit of difficulty figuring out the timing of avoiding enemies with Mario, so I ended up accidentally running into the first enemy. I fled from the battle and I was able to successfully avoid the second enemy. The next area was quite challenging. Considering it is a flat area with not much platforming to avoid enemies, I had to be very precise on how I jumped over the enemies. I was somehow able to not run into a single enemy throughout this entire area. I eventually made my way into the Luigi tutorial, again just like the previous tutorial battles. This one couldn't be avoided. However, this one had something very unique. Even after you kill an enemy, the enemy respawns in battle until the tutorial is complete, meaning I had to kill the enemy several times to progress. I was once again debating whether or not to count these as kills, but I chose to count them in the end. After getting past the Luigi tutorial, we are faced with more enemies to encounter on our own. However, this time we have Luigi with us. So now the timing is going to be entirely different from when we only had Mario. No matter what I did with these enemies, no matter how hard I tried to avoid them, I just couldn't. However, I would run into a battle and would be forced to flee and waste away my coins. After progressing through the different areas with Mario and Luigi, we eventually reached the Bros Attack tutorial. Since this was another tutorial battle, I couldn't skip it. Then we made our way to the Hammer tutorial for battle. Once again, I could not avoid this battle. We then reached the last area of the Trash Pit. Then finally, after all the attempts to try and avoid enemies, I finally did it with Mario and Luigi, on the very last enemy in the area of the Trash Pit. After that, I tried heading into the shop area. I was going to try and buy some gear, but I soon realized that I didn't have enough coins for both Mario and Luigi to have the same gear. So to plan ahead, I decided against buying anything. I then awoke from Bowser from his nap and traversed the secret cave and reached the save point. Here is our levels and total numbers of kills so far. To put this into perspective, typically when I played this game, Mario and Luigi will be at least level 3, but yet all 3 characters are now only on level 1. This is going to be a rough playthrough.